Hello everybody and welcome back to another new vlog, and thank you for joining me once again. I can't quite believe that this spot that I'm in now is so quiet and still and calm, and there's nobody at all around. I often come to this spot and try and take the photo that I've just taken, or the photos that I've just taken, but I can't get close enough because there are always people around, especially at this time of year. It's early May, Tuesday afternoon, and it's quite warm. Although there's not very much brightness in the sky, there's quite a lot of high cloud, which is making it all very overcast, and there's a possibility of a little bit of rain later on. But the shot I wanted was this log behind me. I've shot it a couple of times where I've managed to get close enough to it, but as I walked past it today, I just noticed there's a little bit of a composition that I've never considered before. And basically I've got that log there in the bottom left hand corner of the image, and then kind of working its way up through the image towards the middle third line. And as it cuts across the bottom of the image, these branches, the limbs at the end of it, kind of give you an impression of fingers reaching up to something. And then just behind that there are a set of steps as well, which work quite nicely within the composition. There's a couple of different angles I've shot that from, so I hope you like those images. But they were really the kind of compositions that I've been looking for at this spot for a long time, but I never managed to get it because there's always people here, and quite often there's people sitting or lying on that log. As I walked away from that log, I noticed that somebody had written on it in black permanent marker the phrase "spread the love all around." I'm not really sure that's the best thing to do, writing on dead trees, but I just thought it made quite an interesting abstract shot, so I stopped and took a handheld shot of that. It's quite interesting, but nothing particularly special, but I just like the way it looked with that writing on it. I think today is going to be all about revisiting a couple of spots where I've taken photos before to see what difference it makes shooting in the middle of spring. Obviously now we've got all the green leaves popping out and blossom everywhere, so some of the images that I've taken in the past in the autumn or in the winter, or even right in the middle of summer, may look very different at this time of year. So that's the plan for today. So I'm going to move on and see if I can find my next composition now. I know where it is, but it's just a few minutes walk down this path. So I'm going to move on and see if I can capture another one there. So I'm in this spot now, and there are these two trees behind me. The light isn't working very well on this video, I'm afraid, so you can't really tell just how dark these clouds are above and how many of these branches there are on these two trees. But I've often thought as I've walked past that these two trees together create quite a nice interesting composition. Look at the way those branches all kind of come out at one point together on that one tree, and then you've got this one standing right next to it. The other thing that I notice about them is there's no greenery on them, so I wonder if those trees are actually dead, because obviously beginning of May I'd have thought that most of the trees would have had leaves on them by now, and you can tell by all the greenery around it and behind that that is the case in most situations with most of the trees. But I don't know why these haven't started sprouting leaves or even blossom at this moment, but they still make quite an interesting shot against the backdrop of all that greenery behind it. So I'm going to stop here and capture a shot of this. It may even be a portrait orientation shot because these trees are quite tall and slim, but I don't know yet. I think I quite like the landscape orientation as well. So again, it's one of those situations where I'm going to have to take both shots and then decide afterwards which I prefer. So behind me, just here, there's a group of conifers, and it's just in front of those conifers, just at this edge here, that you'll see the log that I was just photographing earlier. And then as you come across by these conifers, just at the other end, there's a couple of trees that overhang the pond behind me a little bit, and they're covered in green leaves, and they're between them they kind of make this kind of square shape, just a perfect square with the pond below, and you can see the reflections of those trees perfectly in this pond today. The pond is completely and utterly still. It's like an ice rink. You wouldn't even know that it was water. It's just completely and utterly flat. So I think I'm going to get quite an interesting shot with the reflections on the water of these trees here. So that's the idea. I've shot this before with a long lens and got quite an interesting shot, but I did it way back in the autumn, so all the leaves of those trees across the other side of the pond were all turning orange and golden and brown, and now they're completely different because they're all bright green. So that was the idea, try and get a shot here of that and see if I can see what difference it makes. So there are a couple of people on a bench just next to that log. I don't know how well you can see them on this video, but I might have to try and clone those out when I edit the video at the end. But obviously that's the image that I want to go for, that square crop. It might even be a square crop when I've finished it, but we'll have a look and see what I can do with it. Well, that was very interesting. In the end I had to try 3 shots at that location. I got out the 70 to 300mm lens, which I've used in that location before, and I tried to take a shot. I was zoomed in at about 135mm at one point, and just focused on one very small area of the trees across the pond. But I then tried a shot at 70mm as well. And I wanted to try and capture a slightly wider area there, but where I was standing and shooting at 70mm, it was still quite a tight crop for what I was trying to capture. So then I've decided to get out the 50mm lens, and I've also shot that at 50mm so that I can try and get a slightly wider crop on that particular image. Hopefully one of those will work, and it may be that the 50mm image works best and that I have to crop in slightly to get the best possible crop out of the crop ratio out of the image. But I'll have a look at that when I get it back to the computer at home. So as you can see, I stopped to get myself a nice cup of coffee. While I've got your attention, could I ask a question please, for those of you who using Adobe Photoshop? I'm currently using it to edit videos, and at the end of the editing process I need to render the videos so that they're prepared and ready for upload to YouTube. And I'm finding that in the last few weeks or so, the render is taking hours to complete, sometimes as much as 4 hours. And I wonder if any of you got any suggestions about what I could do to improve that. Cheers. If you do have any suggestions at all, please write them in the comments box below. And in the meantime, if you've enjoyed this vlog, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you again on another vlog very soon. Bye for now.